This is problem 70 from the textbook, and we're going to get started. So sine squared minus tan theta over cosine squared minus cotangent theta. The first thing that I think would be a good idea for this problem is to rewrite the tangent as sine theta over cosine theta. And then rewrite the cotangent as cosine theta over sine theta. Okay, so for that we use the quotient identity. Then we're going to need common denominators to combine the fractions on the top, the two terms on the top. So this one will need to be multiplied by cosine theta over cosine theta. And this fraction will need to be multiplied by sine theta over sine theta. After we do that and combine the fractions in one step here, we will get sine squared theta times cosine theta minus sine theta, all divided by cosine theta. And for this one, cosine squared theta sine theta minus cosine theta, all divided by sine theta. So it'd be a good idea to stop the video periodically and try and finish on your own rather than just letting me do all the work and you copying it down. So this reason is common denominator. And now I'm going to simplify this complex fraction by multiplying by the reciprocal of the denominator. So I'm rewriting the numerator. And I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal of this whole fraction here. I can tell I'm on the right track because I have a sine theta over a cosine theta, which I know is equal to tan theta, and I'm trying to get to tangent squared. So I think things are moving in the right direction, even though this still looks very complicated. At this point you probably feel pretty stuck, but this numerator here has a greatest common factor, and this denominator here also has a greatest common factor. It's fairly complicated, so it's hard to see what it'll look like once it's factored, so you just have to trust it and see what happens if you try it. If it doesn't work, you might have to start the whole thing over again and use a different tactic. But I think it's going to work. I take a sine theta out of both terms. This is being sine squared would just turn back into just sine theta. And this would be 1. And this is all over cosine. And this is sine theta. And then this has a cosine in both terms, so I'm going to factor out the cosine. And after I do that, I get cosine theta sine theta minus 1. And then sine theta times cosine theta minus 1 is the same factor as cosine theta sine theta minus 1. So those cancel, and I have sine theta over cosine theta, which is tan theta. And I have sine theta over cosine theta, which is tan theta. And so I get tangent squared theta. So here I just simplified and here I factored and also simplified. Here I use the quotient rule, and here I simplified or multiplied. Alright, so that one's done. That was pretty hard, I'd say. I'd rate that as a hard level 1, particularly because the factoring right here is pretty hard, and recognizing that you have a greatest common factor was key to being able to do this problem. Alright, so let's check out this one over here. I'm going to get all of this out of the way. And get started here. So here's the given. This is number 83. And we have cosine squared minus sine squared over 1 minus tangent squared. So I think it's probably a good idea. Go ahead and keep the cosine squared minus sine squared. And we have 1 minus sine squared over cosine squared. Then I think we should make a common denominator in the denominator here. Let's write down our reason for this step is the quotient identity. And this is cosine squared theta minus sine squared theta over cosine squared theta minus sine squared theta, all divided by cosine squared theta. That was by taking this fraction here and multiplying it by cosine squared theta over cosine squared theta. Then I have this common denominator, and I just wrote it as a single fraction here. So we'll call this common denominator. And now we will rewrite it as multiplying by the reciprocal of the denominator. So here's the numerator, minus sine squared theta, and we'll multiply that by cosine squared theta over cosine squared theta minus sine squared theta. And this can be over 1. So this whole factor cancels. And all that's left is cosine squared. So I'm done. This was just simplify, and this was simplify. So I'll stop this video here. That was 70 and 83, and we will continue on another video with 84 and 86.